Today we're going to use the zero product property that we refer to as the ZPP to solve word problems. So the zero product property says that when you multiply two numbers, if one of them is 0, so if you have 0 times 7, you know that the answer is going to be 0. But if you had 7 times 0, the answer is going to be 0 as well. And if both of them happen to be 0, then your answer is also 0. So simply states that one of the two numbers, or three numbers, or four numbers, if it's 0, everything is 0. We're going to be needing to use factoring, and we're going to need to use area equals length times width, something that you probably have memorized for rectangular shapes. So the word problem that we have is pretty long. It's pretty intense. You may need to pause the video and focus and maybe do some writing as you're pausing and starting and stopping. So here is our problem. It says it's a rectangular garden measuring 12 by 16. So here is our rectangular garden, 12 by 16, and our walkway. And it says together the walkway and the garden have an area of 396 square meters. So the garden and the walkway together would be this entire big shape. So here we go with our entire big shape. Together, it's 396 square meters. So our job, it says, is to write an equation that can be used to find the width of the walkway. So we know that together these two things are 396 square meters. Together would be encompassing the whole thing. So I know I need to find the area of the entire large shape. So it's important to be able to tell what that entire large shape is. I know the garden is 16, and I know that the garden is 12 for length and width. So let's go ahead and figure out if we can find the size of the entire thing. So it would be 16. And then notice it says that this is x and this is x. So just imagine that x slid up and this x slid up. So really you can say that this is like x plus 16 plus x. So your length would be 16 plus 2x, or 2x plus 16. Your width, just kind of turn it sideways. I'll switch over to green, and you see that this is 12, so 12, and you slide your x and your x over. So you can imagine that's x plus 12 plus x. So this would be 12 plus 2x. So it says find an equation that can be used to find the width of the driveway or the walkway. So you would simply say, well, okay, my whole entire thing adds up to 396. So you've got 12 plus 2x times 16 plus 2x equals 396. X is what we're going to be seeking. So remember, I said we would be using the zero product property. We'd be using the formula for area as length times width. So now you're seeing this doesn't exactly show that it's equal to 0. But my equation does model the situation in that it represents the entire walkway. So it represents the entire picture. So I'm going to say my equation represents the garden and walkway put together. And now we need to state the width in meters. So now we need to solve this. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'll rewrite this. I'm going to flip the order. So 2x plus 12 and 2x plus 16, because it's how I'm used to seeing it. And I know I need zero product property, so I'm going to subtract the 396 now. So I have a 0 on the right-hand side. So now you need to do your foiling. So you'd have your 2x squared, so 4x squared, plus 32x, plus 24x, and then you've got to do your 16 times 12, so you've got plus 192 minus 396. So now I've got to do my 192 minus 396. So I'll get 204, so 4x squared plus 32x plus 24x minus 204. We could combine these two middle terms. We could have done that in one step. So you've got your 56. So 4x squared plus 56x minus 204 equals 0. Now, remember GCF. We've been talking about it this year. The only thing that can come out is a number, and I'm hoping it's going to be 4. So I'm going to grab my calculator and divide it by 4. So I get 51, 56 divided by 4, 14. So if I take out a 4, I'm left with x squared plus 14x minus 51 equals 0. So that GCF is critical, or you have a really nasty factoring problem. And now you have to ask yourself, okay, so what are my factors of 51? You're pretty lucky there's not too many. So you've got 1 and 51, 17 and 3, and I'm golden with 17 and 3. So I'm going to stop at that point. So I'm going to say that this is 4, parentheses, x and x. I need these two numbers to multiply to negative 51 and add to positive 14. So I need a negative 3. So I would have positive 17 and negative 3. And now I can go shoot this over here and say this is a zero product property. So keep the 4, but really the only thing you have to do is set your x minus 3 equal to 0 and your x plus 17 equal to 0. And when we solve this, we get x equals 3 or x equals negative 17. It's a length, so it cannot be negative 17. So your choice is that you found that x, your walkway in meters, is 3 meters. So the walkway is 3 meters. Now, would you want to check that and see if it makes sense? I sure would. So I'm going to go back up and take a look at my equation that I used, and I'm just going to plug in 3. So just do a quick check. It can be anywhere. 12 plus 2 times 3, so 12 plus 6 would be 18. 16 plus 2 times 3, 16 plus 6, it's going to be 22. And just double check, does 18 plus 22 equal 396? So that does, so 396. Does your answer make sense? Walkway is 3 meters. Well, a meter is 3 feet. So you've got a 9-foot walkway. It's pretty wide. It's a pretty big garden, but I think that does make sense. I think it was of a personal garden, it might be a little bit wide, but maybe this is a public garden. So that is using the zero product property. It's tricky. It's also a Regents question, so keep in mind that's what they would ask you on your Regents exam, using the zero product property, using your area formula that you've known a long time, and using GCF that you've known a long time, but you really honed this year.